If I'm the betting man, and I am, and you're rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles, this is the redemption year for Jalen Hurts. This is the year we get the bad taste out of our mouths from last season. If I'm going all in, ride or die with a Super Bowl and bringing that Lombardi trophy back to Philadelphia for a second time, you need to go to BetUS, and I'm not wasting any time with it. I'm putting $500 down as the risk and getting $7,000 back at the end of the year because this offense is going to be explosive. This defense by Vic Fangio is going to be dynamic. A 150% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. Click the link in the description below. Start betting and start winning. Yo, oh, hold on. My camera's not on. Hold on. There we are. What's up? What's going on? Hope everyone's doing good. I hope everyone's having a good day on this Friday. Definitely some things to talk about. A lot to cover this week. Obviously, a lot going into the Sunday night game versus the LA Rams in LA, which is good. This is good. I think people are getting confused on the title. Eagles take loss versus Rams, meaning not take a loss versus the Rams, meaning the Eagles lose Devonta Smith for the Rams game, if people are confused. That title does not mean we lose the Rams. Maybe I worded it wrong. It wasn't meant to say losing to the Rams. It meant to say losing Devonta Smith to Rams. I obviously think we're going to win this game. So I think people got confused by the title. Come on now. Why would I say we were going to lose this week? Let's go. We're fine. But there you go. If people were confused by it, I apologize. Yeah. I meant the Devonta Smith injury. At this point, why would I even say we're going to lose this game? No. Definitely not. No doubt. Hope everyone's doing good, though. So yeah, you don't have Devonta Smith for this game on Sunday. Interesting. You have Bryce Huff on the IR. So looks like Jalix Hunt will get a lot more opportunity. Defensive line will get a lot more opportunity going this game on Sunday. You have a Rams team that's 5-5 in the NFC West. They're a game behind the Arizona Cardinals. So I wouldn't say they're a bad team, but they're not necessarily good either. Let me just bring this up so we're good to go here. Hold on one sec. We got Timothy. What's going on, man? Appreciate the super chat. First one of the night. Says, I'm going to be honest. Brian Johnson made this passing scheme look better. I think Jalen benefited from him, but not the rest of the O. Well, I don't think they're not benefiting from anything. I don't know. I think you're saying the quarterback's the only one that's really benefiting and everyone else is not. I think people are benefiting. I mean, do I have an issue with maybe backups, maybe wide receiver 3 that's not getting any attention at all? Jahan Dotson trading for him. I don't really think there's. I think if Hurts is going to benefit, everyone else is going to benefit. I don't think Hurts is benefiting from it, but no one else is. But if when it comes to wide receiver 3, we don't get them involved. We're running the football. I mean, I think it's fine. I think the first quarter, first halves are really the biggest issue to this offense. And every time you don't have Devonta Smith or A.J. Brown in the game, or you lose a receiver, it seems like the offense is flat sometimes. Especially if you're losing Devonta Smith in this game, which isn't a big deal, but you got to get somebody else involved. I mean, the good thing about it is that no teams have seen us get anybody else involved in this offense. So this is a great week this is actually a really good week to incorporate design some plays for other guys. We know that Jahan Dotson only had like 3-4 targets in that game against Washington because it was against his former team. If it was any other game, Dotson wouldn't be fucking targeted until like the third quarter. So, you know. But, we'll see. Philly Flowers said Hurts has to have a good passing game. Yeah, that's true. They're not great against the pass. They're not great. I think they're ranked like 22, 23rd in the league. Their defense against the pass, so it's not great. Make Money Not Friends says Dotson going to get hot. I don't know. I wish I could believe that. If there was any promise that was going to happen, I hope so. You're hoping that could happen. Fly Philly said he was the scapegoat, never given a fair shot. Oh, Brian Johnson? Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. Didn't call the plays for the Eagles. Why do you think Brian Johnson never got an OC job? You know what I mean? That makes you wonder, why didn't Brian Johnson ever have an OC job? He didn't get an OC job because everybody around the league knew what he was doing. Roger Joey, didn't you say that Huff had an injury in warm-ups? You said it was a fake one. I honestly thought the same. Well, no, I didn't say it was fake. I said it was a couple games ago. I think it was the Jaguars game before the Commanders game. It was the Jaguars game a couple games before that. He got hurt in warm-ups. It was a hand or a wrist. He played for like 5-6 snaps in that Jacksonville game, and then he was out the rest of the game. And then he had a cast on his fucking arm, or on his hand, I should say, to his wrist, to his hand. So he's been playing with a cast on the last couple weeks. So, he's going to be out. He's on IR now. He'll be out until probably the last game of the season, second to last game. We'll see what happens. The Eagles probably said, take care of this now. So, you're good for later on this year. You know what I mean? Hernal says Rams are without their 2 wide receivers for 3 games. Much better when Puka and Kupp is healthy. Oh, yeah, I agree. But I think we'll be fine. I have so much trust in these corners. I have so much trust in these linebackers. Like, I have so much trust, Cooper DeJean. I mean, they even if they stick somebody to the inside, whether it's Puka Nuka or it's Cooper Kupp, I don't think it's going to matter. Like I said, like you want to put a receiver. Usually if you have 2 good outside corners, let's put somebody in the slot. This way you have that mismatch. There's no mismatch anywhere they go. Maybe Slay's not the best corner we have, but he's still having a fantastic year regardless. He's playing really well. So Nina, what's going on? It says, hey, Joey, I think Goddard has a good game Sunday. I hope so. I mean, after he comes back from injury, he has an ankle injury. Then he actually makes that Washington game, which was great. Had a couple good plays in that game. Goddard and Calcaterra, they're probably going to run some double tight end sets, most likely. If they're not getting wide receiver 3s involved, you're definitely running double tight end sets. I would try to get the running backs in the passing game as well. But, Goddard, man, he's got to stay healthy the rest of the year. Can't miss another 4 to 6. I mean, he already had his missing 4 to 6 games already this season because he's been doing that every single year. So you're hoping he'll be all right, But I appreciate you coming in, Nina. Timothy said, I think Jalen needs to trust his wide receiver 3s more. I think that's part of it. I think it is chemistry, but I think on top, I think not just chemistry. I think it's I just think of plays being dialed up. Even when we lost A.J. Brown for a few weeks, man, like they got nobody involved. Like nobody. Like absolutely nobody. And that annoys me. Like Johnny Wilson, I think I'm more excited about Johnny Wilson than I am Jahan Dotson, to be honest with you. Like Johnny Wilson, bro, I think is going to be a really good player here. Like, I don't think he's there yet, obviously, but I think another offseason under his belt, another program under his belt, I think he's just going to get better. But I like to say that, hey, we could use Johnny Wilson for red zone, short yardage, something like that, with that 6'7", almost that 6'7" height, big frame. Just got to work on his catching, man. But he's been good. He's had drops at Florida State. He's had some issues. Putting his body in the right position to catch balls at times. Point of the catch. And I think he's been a little bit better. Let's see here. Lord said, let the main thing be the main thing on Sunday. Exactly. Just let it fucking go, man. HVS says, let the others prove themselves and let Smitty heal up for the final drive. Yeah. I get it. You gotta let him heal up. Like, I already kind of went to this week saying, like, Devonta Smith still had a hamstring. I'm like, are they really gonna play him this week? You know, I didn't even know if they were really going to play him this week. I wasn't really sure about that, but Kyle says, Joey, can you imagine what our defense will look like next year with us drafting a legitimate edge rusher? Oh, yeah. You know how good, you know how much Jalen Carter's going to fucking progress after that happens? Maybe even Jordan Davis. But let me tell you something. Jalen Carter doesn't have the sack numbers, but fucking hell, dude, he's got the pressures. He's probably the highest graded DT with pressures this season out of any other DT in the league. It really wouldn't shock me. He's disruptive. He's going to blow up fucking plays in the backfield. And yeah, man, like, edge rusher is like the number one need. It's definitely the number one need. So, Young Speed says, I feel like we will see a different Dotson, him playing wide receiver number 2 alongside A.J. Brown. It's different with him playing wide receiver 2 alongside Smitty. A.J. should open it up for Dotson. Yeah, well, yeah, I think because you have two, well, because you have, they're going to hone in on A.J. a lot in this game. Yeah, I think it's a different scenario between A.J. and Dotson than it would be Devonta Smith and Dotson, maybe. I just want to see someone else involved, man, you know? Just want to see other guys involved. Dad Buff Eagle says, when did we lose that game? What game? Talking about? That dude's got nothing positive to say. What are we fucking talking about? My fucking title the title, it was a confusing title. The title was supposed to say with Devonta Smith, having Devonta Smith versus, losing Devonta Smith was a loss to the Ribs. Well, I mean, if all I say is negative shit, then why are you here? Then don't fucking be here then. Simple as that. It's fucking easy. You just don't watch. Philly Flowers and Jalen got to stop taking 6 business days to get the ball out the pocket and stop missing open guys. And Kellen Moore, whoever calls plays, got to fix the routes. Every quarterback deals with issues like this. I mean, because it's Jalen Hurts, like, everyone thinks Jalen Hurts is the only quarterback that misses wide open guys. And he has done that. He's done it a lot, especially guys that are on crossers. He's missed guys wide open on crossers. You know what I mean? But that's the name of the game, dude. I know it's easy to watch and say, oh, he was wide open. It depends on, was he pressured at that point when the receiver was open? Was it could he actually make a realistic throw at that point? But yeah, he hasn't been perfect with that, but they're winning games. And he's hitting his targets. That's fucking it, dude. Like, I nitpick every game. He'll miss a wide open guy here, wide open guy there. But every fucking quarterback misses wide open receivers. Every quarterback takes sacks, unnecessary sacks. Every guy does this shit. Every fucking time. Yo, we got a super chat from Ish Julian Khan, man. Thank you so much, man. Very generous. He said, people need to relax. I love Skinny Batman, but he had 6 yards last year against the Rams. AJ and Dallas Goddard had more yards, but we got Barkley and Dotson, so people chill. No, I'm not really worried about this game. Number one, okay, I think you have enough weapons for that Rams defense. It's not good. They're not great. They're probably a little bit above average against the. I'm not a little bit below average against the run. I mean, they're ranked 18th against the run. Against the pass, they're like 22, 23. I don't think they've been good against the pass all year. Regardless, I don't think this Devonta Smith sitting for this game is going to make it or break you. I think they're perfectly fine. Appreciate the super chat, man. We'll see what happens. I would like to see other guys involved, but we'll see. Timmy C said, honestly, is Smitty really injured, or are they purposely resting him? I think he is injured. I think everybody's always. It's the middle of the season, guys. Like everybody, it's not every injury is on the injury report, but guys are always dealing with things at this part of the year. Guys are always dealing with shit. So I think he could have played, and I think they're just taking some precautions here. And there's nothing wrong with that. You want him for that Ravens game. You want him for that fucking Steelers game. How about that game on Thursday night? Fucking Christ, man. Crazy. Crazy. What's going on, Rico? Philly 416. If Covey comes back, you could slide him in the slot. Don't sleep on Goddard. I believe he'll have a good game. Yeah, so it looks like Covey will be back in another week or two. A week or two is what Michael Clay, the special teams coordinator, said. So depending, most likely DeJean will be off the punt returns and keep him at that inside corner spot strictly. No more punt returns for Cooper DeJean. We don't want him to take an unnecessary hit. But it's kind of weird, man. The only other guy they've put into this offense, they've actually used in this offense, is Britton Covey. He's got 7 receptions on the year. I think they like his speed. I like Covey. He just weighs 185 pounds. He's got no fucking weight to him. He takes a hit out of bounds and boom, he breaks a fucking shoulder bone. You know what I mean? The scapula, whatever it's called, the shoulder blade ligament or something like that. I don't know, or a bone in the shoulder blade or something like that. I think they're wasting Jahan Dotson 100%. I think they could do much better with this offense. I think it's fine. I think it's good, but I think not using Jahan Dotson, not getting him open, not trying to create some things with him. Not playing Will Shipley is probably one of the biggest mistakes they're making this season, because you could tell there are games where Kenneth Gainwell is a no-show. Okay, not a lot of games, but there are a couple games this season, a couple weeks ago. Okay, I think it was the Cowboys game. They ran with Kenneth Gainwell and he did nothing. It wasn't the Cowboys. What game was that? I forgot what game it was. If you don't get production out of Gainwell, you have to give Barkley more snaps, and I don't like that. I hate that. When you don't want to run him a certain amount. I think Barkley's going to run a lot this week. We'll see what happens. We'll see. We need the earliest lead that we could take, the better it's going to be, and then you don't have to run Barkley too much in that second half if that's the case. So, we'll see. That's a Josh Allen missed like 10 last week in Buffalo. Our fans are crying. Even Lamar and Pat were missing mad open receivers. Our fans are the worst. I believe it. I think people go too fucking far with things. Like, if I'm going to discuss, if Jalen Hurts missed a wide open guy, I'm just going to discuss it and be done with it, and that's it. I'm not going to, debate whether he should be fucking benched or go as far as these other fans go. Michael Wish does a troll comment. You weren't saying Jalen wasn't that guy 2 years ago in the Super Bowl? PA Sports 2A says, do you think Jalen is going to operate the offense to its full potential? Yeah, but he can only do so much. That's what I'm saying. Like, this season is really based off of this coaching staff. It's not based off of, it's connected to Jalen because it's what the coaches are putting him in that position. But downright, it's the coaching. Downright, it comes down to coaching. Reggie says Covey's injury is such a mystery. Does he need surgery? No, I don't think so. No. Philly 416 says that sucks. I thought Covey was coming back. No, not this week. No. Another week or two, he'll be back. Lord says Gainwell was good the last 2 games. He was solid. I just don't think he's I just don't think he's a good number 2 for this team. I don't think so. I don't. I think there's a huge drop-off in skill level when it comes to and I think there always is. But you look at the Lions 1-2 punch with Montgomery and what's in their first-round pick they just drafted this past year. That's different. You know what I mean? That's last year. That's different. that's a different 1-2 punch. They both had, I mean, a couple weeks ago, they were both tied like 7 touchdowns apiece. Like, you know, I don't think Gainwell. I give Gainwell his flowers when he plays well, but I don't think he's. I just don't think he's a legit number 2, to be honest. To our number 1, I don't. Yeah, it was the Saints game. Yeah, it was that hit out of bounds. I think he like got a first down and got hit out of bounds or something like that. And I think that's when he got hurt. Chicago, what's going on, man? Said, why trade for a wide receiver that if you aren't going to utilize him at this potential? Feels the same situation with Olamide Zaccheaus and Julio Jones. Yeah, pretty much. It's definitely a fucking waste right now. It's 100% a waste. Zaccheaus was coming off of his best season with the Falcons, over 500 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he had 2 touchdowns for the year, and they just never gave him the attention. They just never got him involved. And then, Quez Watkins, you really couldn't depend on him for the big moments. You don't have him for the big moments, unfortunately. You know what I mean? He's been up and down receiver. He's been injured, and you can't rely on him. So that's why he failed in Philadelphia. Reese, Gainwell might need to play slot, so maybe Shipley will see reps to the backfield. Will Shipley is just built better for this Kellen Moore-esque offense. He's a legit dual threat fucking running back. I mean, we saw like little samples of him in preseason, and I absolutely loved him. Like, man, he's going to be a matchup nightmare. Put him as a wide receiver, have him go. I mean, having 2 backs in the backfield. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. They could do so much with Will Shipley. But the longer they don't play him, the more raw he's going to stay. He's going to stay more raw, and he's not going to get. He's just not getting good reps. The only good reps he's getting if the Eagles take big leads and he shows up in the end of the 4th quarter and runs a few times. I mean, that's pretty much about it. Cliff Flowers says, I agree. He's inconsistent at running back, too. Not even that he's inconsistent, he's inconsistent because he doesn't have any special type of skill set. Like, I think the one thing that Kenneth Gainwell, the one thing that takes him far is he's got really good vision in the open field. 9 out of 10 times in open space, he'll make the first guy miss. So that's like his vision is really good. But other than that, without his vision, he'd be nothing. And I don't think he's that good. I think he's solid, but I don't think he's a number 2 that a lot of NFL teams would, it wouldn't shock me if he leaves Philadelphia. What happened to Wendell Smallwood when he left? Besides, going to do 50 years in prison now because he got in trouble during 2020. What happened to Wendell Smallwood? What happened to Josh Adams? Seriously, like these backs, a lot of them aren't even starting or even in the rotation on NFL fucking teams right now. Brand said, Joey, imagine Barkley and Ashton Jeanty from Boise State. Yeah, I've seen that guy. Yeah, looks really good. I like that guy a lot. But yeah, I mean, they'll never draft a running back early. I mean, after paying Saquon now, they're definitely not drafting. If you want to get a number 2 back, you're losing Gainwell. I mean, Will Shipley hopefully is going to take the mold mostly. So I don't think the Eagles even touch running back at this draft coming up, to be honest with you. Lorvon said, Lions, Gibbs, and Montgomery is a one-on-one situation, a one-of-one situation nobody else has except Widers, maybe. Probably. Probably. I think the Eagles would have a nice 1-2 punch. But we'll see. We got Derek Rivera. What's going on, man? He said, I don't know, man. Saquon only talks praise about Gabe. Well, no, I mean, they like him. I mean, they're not going to talk shit about each other. Like, Gainwell's not having a bad year. It's just I don't think he's what everyone thinks he is. I don't think he's like some big number 2 back for us. I don't think you can rely on Gainwell in a game. Like on 3rd and short, when they put Gainwell in, 2nd and short, 3rd and short, they'll throw Gainwell in. Barkley will sub out, and he hits a fucking wall and falls down. Like that's what I'm saying. Like he just can't. He won't punish. He won't punish people when it comes to group tackling. He won't get those extra yards for that. And that's one of my biggest problems with him. And the Eagles like to use Kenneth Gainwell at the end of the second quarter every fucking game. Every game. People ask, why is Gainwell in the end of the second half? End of the first half. When it's 2-minute offense, Gainwell plays the whole time. They never put fucking Saquon Barkley in. Ever. Never do. There's not one game they did that. Nah, Swift was a good back. Swift was a really good back, too. Appreciate the super chat, by the way. Swift was a great back, but problem with him is, remember he was in the passing game in training camp. They throw all these passes to him. He was in the passing game beginning of the season, and they barely threw the ball to him the rest of the year. Like, him in the passing game would have been great. And he's had issues with his vision. There's times where his vision is, even with the Bears early in the season, he was pretty bad. There was a lot of Bears fans really bitching that he wasn't like, his vision was like he would see things wide. Fans would see things wide open. He wouldn't go through those holes that he should be going through. So Gainwell, Swift got paid $8 million a year. I mean, he got paid, but it wasn't much, He was affordable, I think Boston Scott's with the Rams, isn't he? I think so. What's going on, Jersey boy? He said, what up, bro? Let's chop it up. Rio says they always take Barkley out in the red zone. Yeah, mostly. Tommy said, Joey, did you see that Smallwood might be facing 50 years in jail? Yeah, I saw that. Rich says Gainwell is in because Barkley taps his helmet for break. Yeah, I noticed that too. But look, I mean, they don't like to run Barkley a lot in the first half. Like the second half is where they really like to use him a lot. But what I could respect what the Eagles are doing with the run game is that I like that in the Washington game because Barkley didn't do much in that first half. He did really a lot in that fourth quarter. That's where he really shined. I mean, after we literally got that defense tired, they waved the white flag pretty much. I think after that 4th and 3, they were on a downhill. That 4th and 2, what was it, the 4th and 2 play where they could have kicked the field goal, and then Zach Bond stopped fucking Jaden Daniels going and hit him out of bounds. I think that's where they started to fall apart. That took the wind out of their sails, and the Eagles started running the ball really well after that. Barkley wasn't even a factor, like I said, till the fourth quarter of that game. Joe says Gainwell has done everything he's asked from a number 2. There is no number 2 back in the league that would look legit behind Barkley. Maybe there's nobody else, but let me tell you this, okay? You've seen what the Eagles did in 2017. That was a fucking backfield, and they used 3 fucking backs. Kenyon Barner was the 4th back as a punt returner, and he wasn't bad. Okay. There is always room to do things. Okay. As a number 2 back, I think Will Shipley would be the better back, in my opinion. For Kellen Moore's scheme, yes. I would say Kenneth Gainwell should be a number 3. Yo, Chris, what's up, man? 2025 draft, I wouldn't be surprised if Hallie goes offense, wide receiver, and tight end in the first 2 rounds. We could possibly sign Reddick back. Let Sweat walk. Let Hunt and Smith get the most reps. I think they're done at receiver. Technically, they can keep Jahan Dotson for another year. He only costs $3.5 million next year, so he's very affordable to keep on the roster next year. They'll bring in receivers, but drafting a receiver early, I highly doubt it. It's going to be edge rusher, tight end, offensive line. I mean, that's where I'm at right now. Edge rusher, tight end, offensive line. That's where I'm at. Not even that order. I'm just saying in general. I mean, edge rusher is going to be your number 1 pick in the first round. But tight end, yeah. I mean, you're going to be there. Depending if they sign Zach Bond, depending if they re-sign Mekhi Becton, we'll see what happens. They're going to draft an offensive lineman regardless. Fred Johnson's going to be gone after this year unless they re-sign him back as a backup. I don't know if he's going to get a starting job, but this is Fred Johnson's last year. So there's a lot on the line there. Deriverse, you don't need to. You don't need to if he motivates Barkley. I think you'll be eating your words like Bond. Well, no, I mean, look, I've been wrong about a lot of things. I mean, it's just taken a lot of time. Zach Bond is great. He's like the number. I think he's like the best linebacker in the league. I call Zach Bond better than fucking Fred Warder. Okay. I've eaten my words about Nolan Smith so far. We'll see how the rest of the year goes. I've eaten my words. Obviously on Reed Blankenship, because I didn't think his coverage was going to be as great. So when people like come at me and say you're wrong, I'm like, okay, great. Like it doesn't hurt my feelings to be wrong about things. At least I put out my opinion out there, and I humble myself when I am wrong about certain situations. And that's fine, man. I mean, look, I think Barkley motivates himself. I don't think he needs anybody to motivate him. I think that running back coach is a really good coach, number one. And I think the one thing I gotta say is, besides the coordinators, the number one thing that's been a huge step up has been the position coaches. Clint Hurt, defensive line coach, he's been fantastic. Bobby King, linebacker coach, fantastic. Christian Parker, corner coach, that was with Vic Fangio when he was in Denver. I think a very, very good experienced position coaches have been fucking fantastic for this team. Fantastic. So. Young Speed said, I love it when Hurts is under center, motioning people around, and Barkley usually gets a lot of yards out of formation. Love to see crossing routes and giving our players the ball in space. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they do enough of that still. I think and if they do, Hurts misses them wide open. There's been a lot of accounts where you see a crosser. I've seen Jahan Dotson on a crosser earlier in the year, never passed too wide open. Devonta Smith in the last game, wide open. I don't get it, dude. Like, Jalen Hurts moves to the right in the pocket. He moves out of the pocket to the right. Devonta Smith is crossing, and Jalen Hurts doesn't even see him and just runs upfield. He takes a sack or a no loss, whatever it was. That fucking frustrates me. Like, shit like that frustrates me. But it happens, It just happens. Yeah, both of them are playing, yes. Where he said Barkley's playing the good soldier, but in the back of his mind, he is annoyed about the tush-push touchdowns. Saquon will not get POI if a low touchdown. Oh, no, he won't. He won't get it. Probably not. The only thing he could probably get is play of the year, which will probably be his backwards hurdle. He might get that. He should have like 12 more touchdowns this season. He's been stopped at the 1 yard line how many times? Like 11 times this year. Yeah, 12 times, I think. 12 or 13 times he's been stopped at the 1 yard line, which really sucks. You know how many touchdowns he'd have this year? It's insane, bro. Yes, I expect a dominant game on defense. Fangio has always had McVay's number. Even Belichick took from Fangio's schemes to shut down McVay down in the Super Bowl a few years ago. I don't think Fangio has faced that defense in like 6 years. It's been a while. But yeah, he's faced it before, yeah. I don't think Miami faced them last year on their schedule. Teresa says, we have so many weapons. I wish the Eagles would change things up instead of being predictable. I think they look very predictable in the first half of these fucking games because you can't play from behind. You just can't. Like, they look really sluggish. And every time they lose Devonta Smith or A.J. Brown, they still look sluggish for some weird reason. It's kind of weird. If there's a player I would rather have injured, it probably would be Devonta Smith because I think we all know that like A.J. Brown is like the top fucking target when it comes to just throwing the fucking. I think he's like the top target when it comes to receivers for the Eagles. I think he's like the main go-to guy most of the time. So it's good that you have him, but now with Dotson as the number 2, and then see what else they do. They got to get Johnny Wilson involved. They got to get somebody else involved here. We'll see what happens. Joe Cloud says, sign Bond, end of the season, keep him hungry. I want to sign him now. They should have signed him yesterday, and that's a big problem, That's a big problem right now. Lord Vaughn says, pay Fred Johnson $5 million to sit on the bench. Milton has to get the bag, though. I don't know if they're paying Milton Williams, to be honest with you. I don't think that's even going to happen. I don't know if they're paying Milton Williams. I honestly don't. He's playing good this year, but, I think they can afford to lose him and get another guy in rotation, honestly. Yeah, extending Bond 100%. PA says, do you think they signed Bond because Nakobe is in his last year, or do you think they draft a linebacker? Nakobe's not his last year. He's got like another... When they draft Nakobe? A couple years ago? Yeah. Oh, is this his third year? No, this is his third year. He's got another year. He's got one more year, I think. But yeah, you got to sign Bond regardless. They have to sign him. He is the protege to this defense, no doubt. Des says, that's what I respect about Joey. He doesn't run from the being wrong and holds himself accountable. He owns up to it, never from a malicious place regarding. No, dude, never. Hey, that's fine. Dude, what am I supposed to do? Am I just supposed to be afraid to give my opinion because I'm going to get shit for it? I mean, it's either I'm going to get shit for it or I'm going to be right about it. And that's fine. And I'm not always right about things. Trust me, I'm wrong about a lot of shit. All the time. Sorry. We got a super chat from Shark. Says, Barkley isn't worried about that. During the Giants game, he was mic'd up saying, line up and do it again. Push works. Use it until it doesn't. Now, I'm not a fan of the push-tush at all. I think it's overly used. And the thing is, when you don't get that push and you have to rely on these fucking refs to make this call to see it, I think we were robbed a couple times this year of a tush-push touchdown. But if you don't get that push, man, it sucks. It sucks. Yeah, like I said, you don't want to rely on the refs to take over these games and do things like that. So, But I get it, though. Chris, at Jalen is 6'1", he can see the field. He just needs to stop worrying about the big play. The coaches said this is a big play offense. They need to implement the intermediate passing game. Yeah, and that was one of the biggest problems last year. They had no intermediate passing game at all. Crossers, hot routes, anything like that. Slants, anything like that. And when they do, Hurts doesn't see them at times, Did you see that play in the end zone against Washington where Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown fucking ran into each other? That's when Jalen Hurts stepped up in the pocket, went to the left, and as he was getting tackled for a loss, he fucking threw the ball in the end zone. He threw it at the fucking ground in the end zone. I mean, Devonta Smith I don't know why he didn't throw that ball. I don't know why he didn't lob that ball earlier, which was really weird to me because Devonta Smith was open. I think Kenny G was open. I don't even know, to be honest with you. Try to figure it out. I watched that play a few times. I'm like, I don't know why he waited to get tackled and threw the ball. I don't know. Maybe it was just awareness. He didn't know somebody was actually going to get his feet. I'm not sure. But we'll see. Levon said Milt Williams is the second best in the middle next to JC. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah. I mean, but that doesn't mean they should get paid just because of that, It doesn't mean anything. Like, we've had, if you take a bad group of linebackers and say, oh, this is the best linebacker, do you pay him automatically because he's been the best out of the group? No, not really. I mean, I don't think Milton Williams is. I mean, I don't know what it comes down to when it comes to numbers. I mean, what are Milton Williams? What are his stats? He's only got what, like 1 sack for the year. He's got, I don't know how many, 9 tackles maybe. I don't even know how many tackles he's got for the year. I mean, Jordan Davis is going to be here for another year, regardless. You know what I mean? I don't think Jordan Davis has earned a fucking big contract, but I think there will be a nice loophole for Howie to say, look, Jordan Davis isn't playing like a first-round pick. I'll take the loss on that, but I think he's still going to be a solid player. Yeah, as a first round pick DT, you have to be able to pass rush. If he's a second, third round pick, I wouldn't really focus too much on it. But because that's been like the biggest weakness to him so far, depending if he's getting double teamed or whatever else is going on with him, and he's just not getting enough pressure. But he's holding his ground. That third and one play was fucking fantastic against the third and one play, the 3rd and 2, I think it was. Against Washington. Just got in the backfield on that play. I think it was to Brian Robinson. I don't know if it was to Eichler or Brian Robinson. I forgot what player it was running the ball that, but it was a fucking great stop. It's a bad pick for a first rounder as of right now, but I think Howie will take advantage of that situation and say, well, I don't have to pay him that much now, so they could pay him a lot less and still be a solid player. So I get it. I get it. We got LP, man. Thank you for joining the Camper Squad tier, man. Thank you so much for joining up. I hope you enjoyed your day. Thank you for supporting as usual. Thank you so much, LP. It means a whole lot. We got 176 in the chat. We have, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the stream. Thank you so much for joining today. The schedule, we'll have the shakedown tomorrow night. We'll have a big stream. Me and Philly have a lot to talk about. And then Sunday, we'll be doing the live play-by-play Sunday night, Eagles, Rams, and we'll have shakedown, post-shakedown, and all that great stuff, videos, all that great stuff, as usual. So, Shark with the super chat says, I agree. I remember Washington ran the ball in 3rd and 1, and we stopped it, made it 4th and 2. If Nick does that, we'll be at home cursing his ass out. I don't know why they didn't take the field goal there, because that puts them up. They're only down like 1 point if they kick that field goal. I think they want to make a statement because they were there to win. I have to give Washington credit for the play, so maybe it wasn't bad for them to go on that 4th and 2. But in a division game like this, where it's gonna play tough, you kind of want to take the points. I think we know that we want to take points at certain times, so we'll see. Appreciate the super chat, man. Chris, I take D. Jones as our backup over Pickett. At least Jones can use his legs. He fits better at our offense boards. Stink it. Yeah, we'll see. I feel really bad for the guy. At the end of the day, it's the Giants' fault they drafted him. It's the Giants' fault they paid him over fucking Barkley. It's their fault. It's his fault. You know what I mean? That stupid fucking GM is stupid. Stupid. Felt bad for him, really did. At the end of the day, it's like he's human at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Daniel Jones did as much as he possibly could with his skill set. What the coaching staff put around him over the last few years, they've done nothing around him. Besides Saquon Barkley, there's been nothing around him that was spectacular. Nothing. Every free agent signing has been a bust signing, either bust or injury prone. They've never had a good fucking tight end. They haven't had a number one wide receiver. They have one now, but it's just not enough. And I don't know how you pay Daniel Jones over fucking Saquon Barkley. The reason why the Giants were in the fucking playoffs is because of Saquon Barkley. It's simple as that. So it's kind of crazy. We got appreciate super chat, by the way. We have Joe Hopkins. Thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. Very generous of you. Joe Hopkins says, sorry, I'm like fucking lost right now. Matthew the statue, is totally immobile. If Carter and Davis consistently flushes him out, our defensive ends will eat all game long. I think Quinyon gets his first interception. I think everybody has said Quinyon will get his first interception every single week. Or it's going to be Reed Blankenship all over again. Reed Blankenship has become the closer to our fucking defense. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, no, he's 100%, a statue at times. I actually like Matthew Stafford. I think he's actually a pretty solid quarterback. But the way the Eagles are playing defensive line-wise, the way they are playing, the way that that Jordan Davis can hold his own, Jalen Carr can get in the backfield and blow up plays. They don't have a really big run game. They're ranked pretty bad against the run. And yes, if they missed some of their receivers the last few weeks, that probably could affect those statistics, but that Kyron Johnson, whatever his name is, he's got like over 400 or 500 yards for the season. I don't know how many yards he has so far in in the games that we played so far this year. But no, I think defensive line will be great. It's the defense gets me more excited than the offense every single week. Gets me more excited for a lot of reasons, so it's great. It's great. To see Cooper DeJean, to see Quinyon Mitchell, another test. Quinyon Mitchell, his worst game of the year is against Chris Olave for 23 yards. I mean, it's fucking insane, dude. It's insane right now. So it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Appreciate the super chat, man. LP, man, gifting 10 Joey Shake 72 memberships. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted. And those people having just with the support is fantastic. We have Hawk with a gifted membership, Chuck Salzman with a gifted, BA with a gifted, Judah the World Destroyer with a gifted, MJ gifted, MBV with gifted, Joe Santo with a gifted, David Lewis with a gifted, Rivera with a gifted, Isaiah Ruiz with a gifted. Thank you so much for gifting those people. Appreciate it so much, LPs. Thank you for becoming a member and gifting 10 more. Thank you so much. Derek Rivera says, I think it's unfair to blame JC or JD because they are both double teamed all the time. The other Tinos, they don't have a closer like number 7. They're not double teamed all the time. And if they are, so what happens is once in games, and it's not happening as much anymore. It's not honestly happening. It's not happening as much anymore. But if they are getting, if Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter get double teamed, and Fangio recognizes that, so what he's going to do is he'll get into a 5-man front where he'll move Zach Bond to the line. Remember, Zach Bond used to be an edge rusher with the Saints, turned to an outside linebacker. He can rush really well. They move Zach Bond on the edge, and everybody has a one-on-one. So that takes away getting double teamed at the DTs. Nakobe Dean back there all by himself for cleanup. It's not happening as much. And if Fangio feels like it is happening and they're taking both of those guys out, both our DTs out, and Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, they will add another guy, a linebacker, to the line to make that a 5-man front and get those one-on-ones across the board. So I'm not worried about that too much, because I think we make really good adjustments. Really good adjustments. So appreciate the super chat, man. So much. So much. Deep says, do you see Hall of Fame in Cooper DeJean's career? Too early to tell, but yeah, I mean, I think so. I think he's going to be a really great player, stays healthy and, does his thing. I think I don't know if the Eagles should give him a bigger role next year, like a Malcolm Jenkins type role, kind of like let him just fly around the field and have him in open space, and maybe they draft another nickel. Maybe they draft a nickel corner next year. Maybe they draft somebody that's good in the mid rounds that could stick their way in, on the inside or something. But we'll see what happens. He's got to play that this year because without Cooper DeJean at that inside corner spot, you got nothing there. It's pretty much butt naked at that point. You got a big liability, and Avonte Maddox. And he's not great. We all know this. Chris says, Drew, that's why Vic will play more man coverage than Sunday. Yeah, and he's played more man coverage. See, I love Vic Fangio because he's not just saying this is my scheme, and he doesn't just play heavy zone and sit back and just take fucking chuck yards. He's played man coverage. He has a lot of trust in his fucking corners. It's so great to have trust in your fucking 2 outside corners and Cooper DeJean. So if there's like a game back in the day, even if you had 2 solid, okay outside corners, they'd always put their number 1 receiver on the inside because linebackers were never good on coverage, and you didn't have a good nickel corner, a good inside cornerback. Now, if you move somebody to the inside, DeJean is going to be there. You move someone to the outside, it's going to be either Quinyon Mitchell or it's on Slay. It's great, man. It's great. See, Joey looks so cute today. Appreciate it. Appreciate it so much. Drew said, nobody wants garbage Danny Pennies. We can rock with McKee or 2 gloves. The problem is they don't want to pay anybody. They don't want to pay anybody. We know that. We know Kenny Pickett's really bad. We know this, okay? So when Hurts went into the medical tent, like the second half, well, in the first half, when he had the concussion, supposedly, I already had us losing this fucking game. Like, if Kenny Pickett's going in there, it's done. Like, it's over. This defense is gonna have to. They're gonna have to get some turnovers and get something in the end zone. I don't know. But they don't want to pay anybody. A backup quarterback costs a lot of fucking money. You're paying $5+ million, maybe $8+ million a year for a backup quarterback. It's expensive. It's expensive to have guys like that. It's not, I know they have a lot of faith in that quarterback room, but we know if Kenny Pickett goes in there, he's not going to do much of anything. They put Tanner McKee in there. He just doesn't have that. You got to change your whole fucking offense at that point because he doesn't have that same dual threat skill set as Jalen Hurts has. Jim said, respect every team, but I just don't see any team better than us. I agree. The Lions are not world beaters. Like, they're not. They haven't faced a defense like ours yet. If the time comes and, if the time comes and the Eagles play, the Lions in the NFC Championship game, great. Potentially that could be a big matchup. I think two teams potentially the Eagles could play in the playoffs. I think one could be the Lions, obviously, but I think another one could be the Packers as well. The Packers could be another game that they could be it's two. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So the number 1 seed, right? So we know the Eagles schedule, right? We have the Rams, we have the Ravens, Steelers, Washington, Giants, Cowboys. So we have like 7 games left, whatever. Okay. Now, the Lions have to play the Bills, and they have to play back-to-back games. The Bills, and they have to play the Packers. Okay. They have to lose one of those 2 games. They got to lose one of those 2 games. It just sucks the Eagles were pretty much one fucking completed pass away from having 1 loss on the year. But it's fine, not saying like, oh, you could face, does losing against the Ravens really affect us? For the long run, maybe. For the division, it doesn't because they're an AFC team. But for like getting the first seed, it does, unfortunately. So, you're hoping that the Lions can lose one of those 2 games. That's what you're really hoping for, We got Shark with another super. Thank you so much, man. It's so generous of you tonight. He says, I'm eager to see how we respond to quick passes. Baker ate us up with those short passes we never adjusted. How do you think they'll do? I think they'll be fine. I think part of it was because they were playing off ball so much. They never tightened up at all. They were giving way too much cushion. There are times in games where corners are giving up too much cushion and they have to, I guess maybe something will be transferred when it comes to from Fangio to downstairs saying, look, tighten these guys up. Like they'll talk to the position coaches, but tell him to tighten up. He's giving way too much cushion. So Christian Parker's done a fantastic job. That game, we can't compare. I mean, this is before the bye. This is the first few weeks of the season. We really can't even compare that game because we're playing on an all new level now. This is weeks ago that happened. Yeah, you don't want to. I think they've tightened up well. They don't really play heavy zone as much. I think Fangio has really seen like what he can get out of his roster. He's not setting up his players to fail in situations he knows they're going to fail in, like we've done in the past. So we just got to give it more time, dude. That game was so long ago, bro. Like that was, the offense didn't do shit. The defense gave up they gave up 3 fucking easy touchdowns. It was 21-0. We couldn't get back into that game. We were playing from behind. There was no way we were coming. The game was over before it fucking started, unfortunately. See. Appreciate the super chat, Shark. Much love, man. Much love. Reese's, can they address Anaya Smith? Can they dress Anaya Smith in a Devonta Smith jersey to fool the Rams secondary? They could. Anaya Smith needs to be put on the shelf the rest of the year. I don't want Anaya Smith playing this year. I don't want Anaya Smith even dressing up at all. Like, I don't like how they try to use him on some end arounds or screen passes, dump off passes. Like, I have no interest in seeing Anaya Smith. I give them credit for trying to get him involved, but there's too many guys. Like, get Dotson involved, get Johnny Wilson involved. And yeah, I think like once they get Covey back, I think they're going to start. It's going to be interesting to see what they do when Covey gets back, because I think they got him involved nicely early in the season. He was getting some first downs, like in open space, setting him up for set Covey up for a slant, something in open space where it's not a suicide pass, just like putting Devonta Smith on a fucking screen pass, the worst that you could do. You know what I mean? So Covey, I think, has a big opportunity when he comes back in a couple of weeks, and it's not going to be in 2 seconds. He'll have to take a few weeks, just because he's just getting back, so he needs to get used to some things. But I want to get Johnny Wilson involved. I want to get Jahan Dotson involved, regardless. Before Anaya Smith Anaya Smith needs another offseason under his belt. It's a shame, because Anaya Smith, I call him the open field demon, he's at 6'1", 6 foot, 180 something pound, 190 something pound. Like, he's perfect size, perfect speed. His catching in traffic is so fucking good. Pinpoints the ball really well. I really liked him a lot coming out of A&M. But unfortunately, he had a really bad fucking offseason. He was injured. He had really bad fucking vision on punt returns. He fucking fumbled the ball on punt return. And I mean, I don't know what was going on. He had a really, really fucking bad offseason, like really bad. I was really shocked over it. Like, Paris Campbell was like the leading wide receiver 3 that whole camp. Anaya Smith didn't do much of anything. Covey, I thought, worked his fucking ass off. I don't think he'll ever be that number 3 receiver, but I think Covey can be that gadget third down receiver for specific plays, use him in open space. So I think they have a speed demon with Covey. I think he's great. You know what I mean? You're just getting more people back, and, you know, the Eagles are getting more reinforcements, which is a good thing. But Anaya Smith, though, not great. Philly said, not worried about the Packers in 8 games. Love is third in interceptions. Interesting. Lord Vaughn said, we had it the opposite the whole time. We don't have to play a complete game to win games. Other teams have to play a complete game in order to have a chance versus us. Yes, I believe that 100%. These first halves are what is fucking annoying me. These slow fucking starts are annoying me. Are really annoying me. Can't stand it. I really can't. Kush Purtis says, do you think we could beat the Rams without Devonta Smith? Yes, of course. Yes. Because I think they have way more firepower. You could use running backs in the passing game. I think they with Johnny Wilson, you have 2 tight ends that Hurts has really good chemistry with Calcaterra. I think they're very bad. I think they're one of the worst defenses against tight ends. I think from what I know, I think they're one of the I think they're one of the worst teams against tight ends. As for their offense, they have given up obviously, if you don't have your starting receivers the last few weeks, it probably affects this, but I think they're the 4th team that gives up the most pressures and time. So it's like 2.51 seconds they give up pressure pretty fucking easily. You know, Lions have the Niners, yeah, but I don't know. I don't think the Niners they got too many injuries still. Too many injuries. These dude, the Woods spoke the 49ers. They would spoke the 49ers because they're injured. They probably beat a healthy Niners team. Who do you think is wide receiver 3? Johnny Wilson? For this game, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they could do a lot of different things. It doesn't have to be another wide receiver. They could use another tight end. They could use another running back. They could put Will Shipley as a wide. They could do a lot of different things in this game. You're not going to replace Devonta Smith, but you could replace some type of good production out of it. So, yeah, we'll see. Lisa, do you think Howie will let Slay, Bradbury, and Garner Johnson walk to make room for Rodgers, Sidney Brown, and the other young cornerbacks to play? No. No. Number one, you're not moving Chauncey Gardner Johnson. You're not moving Reed Blankenship at safety. Sidney Brown needs to cross train somewhere because he can't just be a backup here. He's got too much talent. Okay, he's back. He's fine. Sidney Brown needs to play. Okay, it's not going to be safety. Then what? I don't know. They need to do something with Sidney Brown. And Bradbury is not earning no fucking roster spot. It's not happening. When Bradbury, like, I haven't even thought about him. I don't even know why this injury is taking so long. I don't even know what's going on with him. I don't even know. So we'll see. Making room for other Rodgers. So you said Sidney Brown, and the other cornerbacks. No, I mean, look, you have Slay and Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean on the inside. Next year, the big decision is going to be: do they re-sign Isaiah Rodgers to be the number 2? That's the big decision they're going to have to make. So next free agency, the Eagles aren't going to be spending a lot of money next free agency. I highly doubt it. So don't act like if they don't make any moves, they're going to re-sign a lot of guys. That's our free agency, okay? Zach Bond is a free agency move, okay? Re-signing for Zach Bond's a free agency move. But re-signing Mekhi Becton's a free agency move. If the Eagles don't go hard in free agency this, next offseason, that's the reason why. They're going to lock up some guys, probably. So don't expect them. They're going to have like north of $32 million, which is great. But don't expect them to be like free agency fucking Frenzy. It's not going to happen. They don't need that much. They don't need anything. They really don't need much. Free agency should tell you what they're going to do in the draft. It should tell you. So if they don't sign Milton Williams, and they sign Mekhi Becton, and they sign Zach Bond, and say they sign Isaiah Rodgers for that number 2 spot, I feel pretty good about Isaiah Rodgers in that number 2 spot. I don't think he's played bad at all. I think he's played pretty damn good. I think one play that looked really horrible by him, I think it was I forgot what game. He gave up like that 4th and 7 or 4th and 13. I forgot what play it was. That big 4th down play he gave up. He gave way too much cushion. Way too much on that play. I forgot what game that was, though. I forgot. Laura says, Max was probably played one play since the Fortnite incident. Yeah, I mean, he's gone. He's going to be gone. He's not good. He's not good enough to be a backup. He's not good to rely on him. As soon as, like, that Jaguars game, when the Jags game is the perfect example. When fucking DeJean went out for a couple plays and Maddox went in, they fucking targeted him immediately. Immediately. Right after that. Blackbeard Sports, I think if we beat Baltimore, the Steelers, nobody is stopping us. No, I think that's true. The Steelers don't scare me that much. Their defense is good, but their offense, not really, to be honest with you. I mean, I can't even imagine. George, Pickens comes out of that fucking game. He comes out of that game against the Browns on Thursday night. He's all, imagine if one of our receivers actually said this shit. Okay, Pickens comes out of that game and says, "Oh, because of the snow, or because of the whatever he said, the snow. That's the only way. The Browns are not a good football team. They only won because of the snow." Imagine saying that shit on a post press conference, like making an excuse for your team because of fucking weather. I'm sorry, but didn't the Steelers used to be an outside, late December bad weather type team for years? Didn't they always play good in bad weather? So that's like the second game where the Browns have upset Baltimore, and they've upset Baltimore, and they upset the fucking Steelers. DeJean's not going to play outside corner. It's never going to happen. Never going to happen. I doubt it. The problem you have, too, is that no one can play nickel. Nobody can. No one can play inside corner. Nobody. Rodgers can't. Ringo can't. Eli Ricks can't. What's going on, Logan? Jonathan, hey, Joey, what is Baughn's contract looking like this offseason? Hopefully Howie turns on a new leaf. And I would have to say it's like in an $8 to $9 million range, like 8 to 9 million per year. Probably. That's probably where it's at right now. I mean, it's only going to get more expensive. So, what do you mean I read that wrong? What did I read wrong? Drew says the only main hole of our roster is the elite edge rusher. This might be the draft to trade for one, unless a stud edge will be there late first round. Who knows? If the Eagles, depending where their pick is at, if they feel like a lot of these edge rushers, it depends how the board falls. If before the draft they feel like they're not going to get, and Howie has a lot of connections to know like what teams are getting who in the first, he'll have a pretty good insight of, because he's got a lot of connections and a lot of people trust Howie in certain regards. Like, hey, I just want to know, like, are you get one of these edge rushers that are coming out next year? I don't know how many are legit in the first round. We're not even in draft time right now, so I don't really know. But trading for one, maybe you trade your first round. Maybe you trade back. You trade your first round pick to a team plus a player to move. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things they could do, you know? But edge rusher, tight end, we don't know about linebacker. We don't know about right tackle. If Mekhi Becton, obviously Tyler Steen played pretty good when Mekhi Becton was out with the concussion. You know, Tyler said George Pickens is soft. Greg Newsome was on his ass all game. Pickens is good, but he's a diva. I think Pickens is really the only great weapon they have offensively. Najee Harris is good, obviously, you know. But Pickens is, even watching them against Washington, I was like they don't go for it on fourth downs. They're not an aggressive football team. Russell Wilson, he's all right, but I don't think he's anything special at all, you know. Show says Desai used Sidney Brown at nickel quite often last year. He played well at that spot, and that would probably make sense. I would cross-train him down there and look, if they want to put DeJean as a number 2, that's fine, if that's what they want to do. But you have to make promise that Sidney Brown is going to do good in that spot next year. Because the great thing about this season is that when you have Slay on the outside, you have Quinyon Mitchell that's playing fucking out of his mind right now. Okay? If they sense you don't have a good inside corner, they'll move their number 1 to that inside. And then, boom, like that's what they're going to hit you with the entire fucking game. You know? So it's going to be interesting what they do. I don't know what they're going to do, but we'll see. Casa Joey for the Steelers, all we got to worry about is TJ Watt. I'm not even worried about him, to be honest with you. I think teams have done a really good job of trying to, you know, kind of handicap him in the game a little bit. I thought Washington did a really good job with him, because he didn't really hit the quarterback he didn't really get any pressure until like the fucking end of the fourth quarter. TJ Watt didn't really do much in that game either. Rob said, think Coop is the second best corner on this team. He could play outside nickel. Cornerbacks are easier to find. Inside corners, you don't have to draft high, because you don't draft inside corners that, you know, you don't draft inside corners, you know, high like that. So Henry says, bro, I think Pearson Jr. from Tennessee could fall to us. Bro can rush and play a little coverage, perfect for Fangio's defense. Yeah, and that's what we have to look after too. Like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with these edge rushers, but none of them could fucking cover. None of them can. Like, I think they've tried, and it's failed every fucking time. Or they've covered a guy for 2 seconds, hitting him in the shoulder pad one time, and then, I don't know. For me, it's done absolutely nothing. We've seen Jamar Chase. We've seen Nolan Smith on Jamar Chase in the end zone fail. We've seen Malik Neighbors on Josh Sweat. First snap of the fucking defense. We've seen Brandon Graham on Malik Neighbors. Like, They can't cover. None of them could cover. None of them. So that's where we're at right now. But this stream is sponsored by BetUS. This is a word from our sponsors at BetUS. If I'm the betting man that I am and you're rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles, this is the redemption year for Jalen Hurts. This is the year we get the bad taste out of our mouths from last season. If I'm going all in, ride or die with a Super Bowl and bringing that Lombardi trophy back to Philadelphia for a second time, you need to go to BetUS, and I'm not wasting any time with it. I'm putting $500 down as the risk and getting $7,000 back at the end of the year because this offense is going to be explosive. This defense by Vic Fangio is going to be dynamic. A 150% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. Click the link in the description below. Start betting and start winning. So Rico says Lane Johnson is 34. Signing Becton is key for the future. Okay, so here's the thing. They have a really, really, really big opportunity at guard right now. They have an interesting situation at right guard because if Lane Johnson is going to retire in a couple years, okay? If Lane Johnson retires in a couple years, which will probably be another couple years, okay? They have two choices. One, they let Tyler Steen take that right guard role. We know that Mekhi Becton and Tyler Steen were at a really good competition this past offseason. It was back and forth, but mostly Mekhi Becton was obviously the man that won everything. He was mostly a backup for every position except center, to be honest with you. If you want a future right tackle, you can kill two birds with one stone immediately. If they feel like, hey, Lane Johnson retires in a couple years, they want to move Mekhi Becton to that right tackle spot and then put Tyler Steen at right guard, boom, I think you're good. That's really, if they feel like I don't think Mekhi Becton wants to go anywhere else. Finally in his career, he is somewhere. He's young. I mean, he's 6'8", 360 fucking pounds. I mean, Guy has been great on the inside for us at guard. It's been fucking fantastic. The Eagles, they have revived his career. He's a first-round talent, dude. First-round talent. The Jets, we know how cursed they are. They can't find a quarterback. They can't even take a fucking first-round talent and Mekhi Becton. They had him at right tackle. They moved him to left tackle. I mean, he had injuries. He had issues. Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be a smart move. I don't know how much it's going to cost. It shouldn't cost that much, but it should be interesting. But I think the main one I'm really worried about is linebacker. I think you let TJ Edwards walk, and let me tell you, Zach Bond is far more superior. Okay, what Fangio had with fucking Van Ginkel of the Miami Dolphins that had that okay contract with the Vikings, that signed with the Vikings this season. Van Ginkel was a nobody for 3 years, and then his last year he had like 53 pressures, 6 sacks. I mean, he played really well. But Zach Bond, I don't know how in the fuck they found this guy. I mean, a 1-year deal, $1.6 million. I mean, come on now. I mean, that's just fucking. And you know what? Pay him what he wants, dude. Pay him what he wants. Honestly, there's no trying to get up cheaper. You're not trying to go cheap here. Like, you changed one of your philosophies, signing a running back, $12 million a year. You got a 3-down back in the building. Finally, in how many years? There's no product behind this fucking offensive line anymore. There's no product running backs that are getting these 1,000-yard seasons, and they're just not the highest of what they could be in their skill set. Now you have Saquon. So what's the next thing they have to do to break up another philosophy that the Eagles need to get themselves out of? They're not going to draft a linebacker early because you don't fucking have to now. Sign Zach Bond long term. Zach Bond's 27 years old, right? 26, 27. Sign him to a few years. I mean, linebackers could play over 30 years old. You know what I mean? You could give him a 2-3 year deal and then re-sign him again for a year or so. I don't know, something like that. I don't think Zach Bond is going to want to go anywhere else. I don't know, because what if another team doesn't know how to use Zach Bond? There might be another coach that he might, you know what? It's crazy because he might be just one of those Vic Fangio protege players that's only good in Philadelphia under Vic Fangio. This is like one of our top, this is probably our top, I don't know. Our more consistent player has been Zach Bond. More consistent? Yes. He's been more consistent than any other player. Besides Quinyon Mitchell, he's been more consistent than any other player on our defense. No doubt. No fucking doubt, dude. So the good thing is you don't have to go in free agency and spend a shit ton of money. This is your free agency. Re-signing Becton is free agency. Re-signing Zach Bond early is your next year's free agency. So you go into free agency next year, don't expect Howie Roseman to do this and sign this and, oh, let's try to get him and let's try to get Micah Parsons. I don't give a shit about any of that. Don't care about that. I am fine sitting here doing nothing. Nothing. You know? Now it's like, man, thank God we didn't sign TJ Edwards. Now we actually have like a linebacker that's, you know, it's like he's like a Brandon Graham in his career. Like a Brandon Graham in his career. No joke. That's what it reminds me of. Just at another position, you know? Matt said, what up? You think we're going to struggle without Smitty? No, we shouldn't. No. We should not. As long as they get a fast start, I think they'll be fine. And they could use these running backs in the passing game. And they dial up some plays for other guys. They do double tight end sets. They do some different things. I mean, we'll see. Drew says, facts. Becton is going to have to replace Lane and insert Steiner. Yeah, Trevor Keegan is going to be I like Trevor Keegan a lot, man. I hope another offseason under his belt. I like Keegan. I do. You lose Fred Johnson. If you can't re-sign Fred Johnson, though, you're going to lose out on a left tackle. You don't have a left tackle, so that's going to be you don't have a backup left tackle. That's going to be a problem. Mekhi Becton can be. He can move there if you need him to, but you don't want that to happen, you know. You know? Kyle says, Joey, I think Eagles will draft one of the edge rushers from Ohio State. Yeah, I haven't looked at everything too much. I know there's one from Ohio State. There's that other guy from Penn. You know, but the Eagles will have, you know, the Eagles are not going to have a top 10 pick this year. So really depends on what if there's an edge rusher that's available via trade and the Eagles want to trade their first round pick for a younger player, maybe looking for, we need to see what I think the one thing we're going to look at is edge rushers that are coming out of their last years of their contracts. Okay. Obviously Micah Parsons would be one if you want to look at it like that. You know, but we'll see what else is available out there. I don't know off the top of my head what else is available. Parker DeFly says, do you think Q is the next Darrelle Revis? It's looking like it. We haven't seen a player like that in a lot of fucking years, man. A lot of years. But so far, Guantanamo Bay is fucking real, bro. It's real. EC wants to, my holdup is Jalen Hurts. You watch the game and you go back and you see highlights and it's like he doesn't do anything crazy or special. Philly is sound up front. Their defense is playing. Yeah, you don't need anything to happen with this offense spectacular. That's how much talent is on this offense. Like whatever the defense gives you, like make them worry, like dump the ball off, you know, check downs, like you'll win the fucking game. Like Hurts doesn't have to fucking play out of his mind where he needs to make some spectacular throw. Like it really doesn't have to happen that much, to be honest with you. The coaching staff just makes it fucking harder when you don't have a quick, fast start in these first halves, these scripted fucking plays. And I don't know why. I mean, they look, and this is another thing, since you don't have Devonta Smith now, I feel like it's worse at times because they look even more, the offense looks more off when one of these guys isn't playing in the game, you know? But Abdul Carter, is that the guy from Penn State? Is that the guy from Penn State, I think? What's going on, Yipa? I saw some shit on Colt McCoy. I don't know what he said. He said something about Hurts, right? Well, whatever. Who fucking cares? Um, no Parsons, hell no. So just saw Colt McCoy's comments. What a fucking clown. What'd he say? What'd he say? I kind of have interest now. What'd he say? Colt McCoy saying Jalen Hurts does nothing special is what are we doing, man? I don't know. Colt McCoy saying Jalen isn't special when he's himself has a career where he accumulated 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. What? That's fucking... Man, everybody hates this fucking quarterback. You know why everyone hates this quarterback? I think part of it, too, is that, you know what? Jalen Hurts has such fucking aura that nothing bothers him. And, like, they honestly, these media people or these fucking nobodies think they could break this guy down, and they can't. They can't break him down at all. They think, like, this outside bullshit gets in his head, and it fucking doesn't. He said, my holdup is Jalen Hurts. You watch the game and you go back and you see the highlights, and it's like he doesn't do anything crazy or special. Okay. Philly is sound up front. Their defense is playing a lot better. As long as Jalen Hurts doesn't mess it up too bad, they find ways to win. Okay. Fuck have you done in your career? He's like won like 11 games. Like what the fuck? He's like what the fuck, dude? Matt said, I think we see a lot more AJ and Goddard this game mixed in with Saquon. Yeah, well, yeah, obviously. You want to get your tight end. You're gonna have to get your tight ends involved. But I want to see these other receivers involved too, not just those. Tyler said Jalen Hurts aura is above and beyond. Blackbeard Sports, I like Jack Sawyer or JT from Ohio State. This guys could be elite. He was just fuck them Hurts haters. Yeah, it's like the same shit all the time, dude. Oh, fucking Chris Sims, bro. I can't. That guy, I couldn't even fucking stand him last year. Fucking Chris Sims, I can't stand him. I can't stand him. He's like the number one guy I can't fucking stand. Actually, no, he's probably not the other. Who's the other guy with the big fucking nose? What's his name? I feel like half of these fucking shows hate on Hurts to get fucking viewership. I don't get it, dude. Who's that other asshole with the big nose? What's his fucking name? That he hates Hurts. Like, nothing good to say about it. I forgot his fucking name. Wright, his name is? Wright, his last name? What the fuck's his name? I don't even watch his show. I care less, but I see clips all the time. Part of life says, but yeah, Abdul Carr is the stud from Penn State. He's a Heisman finalist for this year already. Damn, it's good. Damn. Jager Steve Farb says, I can't stand the Silio. It's not everybody's cup of tea. Nick Wright. Yeah, Nick Wright. That's another asshole I can't stand. Yeah, can't stand Nick Wright. Just as Colin Coward said, Bo Nix is better than Hurts. Whatever, bro. I'm tired of this shit. Yeah. Philly said again, as if Goff 5 picks in one game in crickets. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes will never get shit. Patrick Mahomes will never ever get shit. Goff threw 5 picks. I didn't hear much about that. After he threw those picks, they still talk great about the Lions. Hurts could make one bad decision and boom, it's like benched. He should be benched. He should, he's not what he used to be. I don't know. You know why? Because that downfall they had last season is what they're gonna fucking pick off of. Oh well, they played good last year. Look what happened. You know, they have too much. They just look at last year and say, well, this makes sense because look what happened last year. You know, the difference is they have a balanced defense, a very very good balanced defense. They have better coordinators. They have better positional coaches. Their offense has been dominant a few times this season, which they didn't have one dominating performance. They had not one dominating performance with that roster offensively. Ugly game after ugly game after ugly game after ugly game. Yeah, Ryan Fitzpatrick said shit last week too, Thursday night. Oh, he won't go to the Super Bowl. You know. Matt said, I bet even if won just second ring, they'd still be. Honestly, I think they have to win a Super Bowl for them to shut the fuck up. They would have to. I don't think it would completely go down, but I think he would get. I think if Hurts can get another ring for, if the Eagles can get their second ring, I think a lot of this will be. They have to win a Super Bowl with this roster, regardless. I mean, they fucking have to. Like, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They got to. Nick Wright thinks Stafford is now a top 5 QB. Fucking Christ, dude. Drew said the Jalen Hurts hate is insane to me considering he was a damn ankle injury and a corrupt ref. Shit field away from MVP and Super Bowl MVP. Yeah, I mean, other than really the fumble, I mean, he played fucking great. Played really good. And that field was horrible. They watered the field They watered it. They watered the field 24 hours before the game. That's real interesting. Wow. And usually they don't do that. Every 5-6 days, like every week, they'll water the field. 24 hours before the game, they watered the field, and everybody was slipping. I don't know. Kansas City wasn't slipping that much, but I don't know why we were. We were slipping all over the fucking place. We couldn't get a pass rush. Soon as an edge rusher would just slip, Reddick couldn't do no one could do anything in that game. Nobody. Mahomes is having a most mid-year and no one says a word. They just pray. Yeah, they could win by a fucking field goal, down to a field goal, and they don't say anything. And he, at one point he had more fucking picks than fucking thrown fucking passing touchdowns. The defense is what's really saving that fucking squad this year. That's what I'm saying. Like, Washington gets a Hail Mary against the Bears, and they're the best fucking team around. Going to that fucking Washington Eagles game, now it's, Jane Daniels ribs. Jane Daniels a rookie. Now it's the Eagles get no credit for that fucking win in Philadelphia now. Now the Eagles get no fucking credit for that fucking win on Thursday night. They got no credit for it. I heard no credit. It was like it's like the king, Jane Daniels, is because he's a rookie. And I understand there's excitement around Washington, but those fans got fucking humbled on Thursday night. They got fucking humbled. So they haven't faced us all fucking year. They lost against the Steelers. They lost against the Ravens. I don't care like who they lost or won against, but that's just an example. They haven't really beat anybody good this year. So, and you can't even beat you can't beat the best team in your division. So, what does that tell you? Nick Wrong is a Chiefs fan. We all know 24 Chiefs are 23 Eagles. They won by a toe versus the Ravens. They won because of a PI versus Bengals, and they won versus the Falcons because of a bad fourth down call. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. We have to just take this week by week, and we just have to block out the fucking noise. Even us, as fans, as content creators, we gotta block out the fucking noise, and we just let ourselves do our fucking business. That's it. We just gotta get down to fucking business. That's all. Every week, just get the win. Every week, just get the win. And trust me, we will fucking be there. It was Jane Daniels' ribs. It was his fucking hand that got busted up. I mean, it was just so fucking stupid, man. It was just so dumb. Dumb. Let's see. Parr says, I agree with pissed me off that Mahomes is the MVP race. Like, what the fuck? And he's only also the 6th in the league for QB rating. Matt said they won against the Broncos by a lucky block. Oh, it was the Broncos, the lucky fucking block field goal. Yeah, I know. Book it. Super Bowl 57 rematch. Man. We have got. I mean, this is not like last year anymore. Like, our defense is like, this defense is making fucking plays, and they're fucking scary now. Like, it's way different now. It's way different this year. Like a lot of Washington fans going that Thursday. Oh, last year, you're gonna have another downfall. I'm like, you guys have no idea like how different we are this year. It's way different now. It's not like it used to be anymore, and it changed within a fucking year. Within a year, So, gotta keep it moving. Cyrus says, no excuses Sunday. You got AJ, Goddard, Saquon, Dotson. I agree. 125 said the Chiefs are like us last year. We just ignore it because of their record. Shan Sharp said, never accept in a win what you would never accept in a loss. J.M. McKay says, the only thing I wish I saw more from Hurts is consistency. He kind of goes off the rails sometimes, and then will throw one of the best balls I've ever seen. Oh, that dude, like I said, Jacob, like this happens a lot with a lot of quarterbacks. Like, this happens a lot. It's not like it's not like it's such a different thing where a guy's missing somebody wide open, taking unnecessary sack. I agree. He's done that. He's done that a good amount of times. Some of his throws look fucking off, and then like that one pass, you're like, bro, like he could throw these balls, like he could fit that shit in the tightest window possible. And then there's times where he hesitates, and then has to extend the play, and then it goes nowhere sometimes. Myrie, the Eagles should sign Daniel Jones last week, let him go out and beat the piss out of the Giants. I don't know, man. I think he's a quarterback that just needs a new setting. He just needs a new team will do right by him, Bart said, hell no, I don't want to face the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, witness their fucking three-peat and beating us twice. We might have to, bro. Joe said it's not going to be a rematch. It'll be Eagles versus Buffalo. Interesting. Which is just like Cowgirl fans, all the haters bring up the past, so it's all they could say. So damn annoying. Defense is way better. Jacob says defense is way better. We are actually learning on the run like we did during the Super Bowl run. Vaughn, best linebacker since Trotter. Yeah, it's looking pretty similar. Tyler says there's a lot of elite QBs who are perfect, and then some games they aren't it. Just happens, but Hurts shows what he's capable of. And you know what? Hurts is clutch. I think that's the main thing. He finds ways to win, and he does. So I'm gonna nitpick. I nitpick every game that he plays, no doubt. I do, but like when we beat the Giants, I didn't even want to talk shit about the team at all. When we beat the Giants and we destroyed them, I was like, you know what? If we lost against the Giants, we'd be bitching. But if we win against the Giants, then, well, it was against a bad team. You know what I mean? It's like you're never going to win with fans. You're never going to fucking win every week. But, I just was like, you know what? This is the first. That Giants, when we won against the Giants this season, that was the first fucking dominating performance since the 2022 NFC Championship game. I mean, that's fucking insane, dude. It's insane. And then when you face the Browns, only won by 4 points, and that was the Nick Sirianni. That was one of Nick Sirianni's fucking let me go for it on third, fourth down the whole fucking game and being so fucking aggressive. Like, bro, you got to lead. I mean, Jesus Christ, the lead they could have took on them. They just brought life back to the Browns. Jaguars, same thing. Brought life back for the fucking for the Jags. A really bad ref call on that Saquon Barkley fumble, which was fucking ridiculous. But, you know, Matt Huff being out doesn't worry me at the slash because he wasn't doing much of anything on defense anyways. Yeah, I mean, look, but you know, I think he's played better since the bye. He's definitely not worth the 17 million right now, but he's definitely played better. He's been getting some pressures. His pass rush has looked better, even if he's not getting the numbers. He's getting some pressure, which is good. So getting Jalen Hurts into the mix, getting the bigger rotation there, seeing what happens. You know, we'll see. But Parsons, every quarterback misses wide open guys frequently. The media just happens to clown Hurts for it more. Yeah, I agree. Every quarterback does this shit. We're going to bitch about it, and that's fine. And we're going to say, what did Hurts do wrong? Well, he missed this guy wide open, and that's fine. But, like, at the end of the day, we're nitpicking, okay? Even if we win a game and we bitch about it. If we lose a game, we bitch about it. We're nitpicking at things. When you lose a game and he's doing that, it makes it look worse. But when he wins a game and he does that, you kind of accept it and say, well, everybody else does it. You know, does he need to fix that at times? Sure. Like Devonta Smith's like right in front of him. He fucking right side. He gets the ball in his hands. He extends to the right side. And then he looks like he's going to run up field. And he's looking up. And Devonta Smith is like, boom. I'm saying like Devonta Smith was in his radius. Like right in front of him. Like, dude, I'm open right here. And he doesn't hit him. Like that shit just happens. You know? Murray says, yo, Joe, do you think they need to change the Calgary game and do it when they play Pittsburgh instead of Cowboys? Well, I would love to change it. But they're probably not going to change it. Which kind of sucks. Let's see here. EC1 says, now Hurts is a nobody. Whole team carrying him like the golf doesn't have a stacked roster like this, only because Philly doing. But you know what? It's just like. The big thing going into that Thursday night game against Washington was Jaden Daniels is doing more with less, and Jalen Hurts is doing less with more. You know, I hated that bullshit going into that fucking game. Like, that just pisses me off. You know, the reason why Washington's getting a lot of attention because it's a brand new fucking team. Brand new owner, brand new GM. Brand new, new head coach, new defensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator. They had over $95 million in cap space. They had 17, 18 free agents signed. I mean, that's pretty good. The Titans did almost the same thing. You know, they pretty much got new players in there, and they still suck right now. You know, they still don't have a quarterback. But that's why they got a lot of attention. And then they start winning games. And, you know, let me tell you something. That fucking Bears game, bro, like, and the reason why Washington fucked up in that Bears game and why they had to throw a Hail Mary is because they had penalties in the red zone. They had a lot of penalties in the red zone. They had some drive killers in that game. And the Bears, like, look at these fucking teams, dude. Like, what teams were really overhyped? Houston was overhyped. The Bears were overhyped. I'm trying to figure out who the fuck else was overhyped going into the season. Sequence says, the mission is to win. My job is to find a way. Matt, giving him the big chance in 22 was 100% the right move with Hurts instead of drafting and trading for a QB. Oh, I agree. Now, it was scary because it didn't look like they were going to give him another chance because you know they still had going into 22, they still had Jalen Reagor. They still, you know, they didn't have a number one receiver. They didn't really have a number one, you know what I mean? They didn't really have enough to say that Hurts was, you know, capable of really doing much of anything. Let's see. It says Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota had a fast start. I mean, they're still okay. They're still okay. But I don't think they're world beaters at all. Packers, eh. Well, Cowboys don't fucking. I mean, their fans are overhyping that. The media doesn't overhype. Oh, the media overhypes the Cowboys, but we know that they were going to play bad this year anyway. So Baltimore and the Steelers game, those two games are going to be like big ones for us, no doubt. Mylary said, nice contract for Ball in 3 years, shit, $36 million, puts him in the top 10 of middle linebackers, but doesn't break the bank. So we'll see what he wants. We don't know what's going to happen with that contract. We don't know what's going to happen. Yes, and Nolan Smith has looked good since the bye. It's awesome to see him develop more. Yeah. He's attacking a gap, and he's just got more tools in his toolbox now. He's just getting better now. But I want to see more. You know, I think he's playing good. Matt said the scary Terry got no yards, total shutdown by Q, which was awesome. I remember them saying that was going to destroy us too. Yeah, he had no yards. I think he had 10 yards on the day. I don't know if he had like just one catch. I think he had like one catch for like 10. That was it. Not on Quinion though. Joe says, yes, Jacob, you are absolutely correct. I love how this team develops players. I got to say this, dude, because you know what? I'm glad they didn't make it. I'm glad they didn't make a trade at the trade deadline. I was kind of shocked, to be honest with you. But they're taking a different approach now, which is let Fangio produce the fucking guys on defense. Fangio said, I've been in the league for 30 years. I've seen teams make these in-season trades for giving away big draft compensation and doing nothing at the end of the year. And I get why it's not worth it. The Eagles have had a really bad... They have a bad resume in in-season trades. The last one that was a good one was Jay Ajayi for a 4th-round pick from Miami in 2017. You know? Joe Hopkins says, Jesus, please don't bring up Jalen Reagor. Reagor over Jefferson. What the fuck was Howie thinking? I don't know. The one thing I don't know about that situation, I'm not going to go in the past too much, but the one thing about that situation is I don't know if Howie had complete control over him. At that time, I don't know if that was a Howie draft pick. That was an Andy Weidel draft pick. Because got to remember, like, there was Joe Douglas, there was Andy Weidel, there was Andrew Berry. Howie Roseman used to bump heads with Jeffrey Lurie a lot, too, on top of it. They were not drafting players from the SEC. They weren't drafting enough players from the SEC at all. Like, that's one of the biggest problems they had. So I don't know fully. I think Reagor was a Howie pick. The other picks I'm not really sure of. Jacob says, who is Howie less likely to get a Christmas present for, Chip Kelly or Carson Wentz? Probably Chip Kelly. I would say probably Chip Kelly, to be honest with you. I think there was really, really bad blood. I think the Chip Kelly situation was worse than anything. Passing on wise, regardless of who's to blame. I don't blame Jalen though. Kenny the Argent says Cardinals overhyped, Falcons overhyped, and Lions over. Oh, the Saints too. Yeah, you're right. The Saints were overhyped too. When we went into that Saints game, they were like, well, they were number 1 in passing yards or something like that. Their offense was fucking kicking. I mean, and ever since we beat them that fucking day, man, the Saints were another overhyped team early. Also, in Howie's case, Jalen Reagor was a better prospect. People thought Jay Jettas would only be good in the slot. Yeah, that's what the rumor was. Yeah. But the greatest thing about this situation, especially on the defense, like, even Fangio said, like, Fangio told everybody at the press conference like a week or two ago, he doesn't go by, when he wants a player, he doesn't go by what the league thinks of that player. Fangio trusts his eyes, and he trusts originally Zach Bond, and he let the cat out of the bag at a press conference a week or two ago. originally Zach Bond, from Howie Roseman's eyes, Zach Bond was supposed to be a backup outside linebacker / special teams demon. That's what Zach Bond was supposed to be. And Vic Fangio said, nah, nah, nah. I see him as an inside linebacker. Before coming to the Eagles, Zach Bond never played inside linebacker. He never forced a fumble in his career. 4 of his years with the Saints, I don't even think he even equaled his fucking tackles that he even has. He's been over his tackles now than he ever did with the Saints in 4 fucking years. Saints scored 40 plus the first 2 weeks. Yeah, I remember that. Jeff said no one even talks about Robert Quinn, Matt, but that's a good deal. Yeah, Robert Quinn. What a waste that was. That was a complete fucking waste. Complete waste of time. I think we all know that. But yeah, guys, I think I mean we have a big game on Sunday. We have a lot to look forward to, man. Just gotta get these wins, get these wins. And then we have a big game against Baltimore at 4:20. What time is that Baltimore game? 4:25? I forgot what that Baltimore game. I think it's middle of the day, I think. Not sure. Yeah, Bond was with the Saints as a role player. He was an edge rusher that transitioned to an outside linebacker, and he was just really a nobody. He had a couple picks. He had a couple interceptions last year for them, but he wasn't anything special. But it's crazy. Kane said, "Oh God, no! Don't get me started on freaking Chip Kelly, that horrible coach. That coach is really bad, really, really bad." Yeah. Oh, it's 4:25 against Baltimore. Okay. Yeah, I saw the Slay mic'd up video. That was pretty good. It was pretty good. Pretty damn good. So today's been a crazy week. Like I almost didn't even stream tonight because I had so much stuff going on. I've been my work, my other job has been fucking killing me this week. Like fucking killing me this week. Yeah, I know. I don't want to. I hate that we play the fucking. I can't stand fucking primetime games. I can't stand it. I think mostly because it's a long night for me. I'm up until 3 in the morning doing content. That's the only reason why I can't stand it. I can't stand the fucking night games. Can't stand it, but it is what it is. Because I just want to watch the game and just relax. But I'm not gonna be able to do that. I'm not gonna be able to do that. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to do that. But we will see. We will see. Yeah, Ravens defense has been suspect. It's definitely been suspect this year, no doubt. So, what if I hate Chip Kelly? And it's because of I hate Ohio State Buckeyes. Kelly is the. Oh, really? He's the OC he's the OC for Ohio State. I never knew that. Night games feel long too. Yeah. James said the grind don't stop. It does not. It does not. As much as I hate doing content on late nights, I hate doing content late at night like that. I can't stand it. Kay says, yes, even the Ravens had King Henry, but their defense is not good. Yeah. We'll see. Make content full time. Yeah, not yet. Not yet. I mean, I'm pretty much doing this full time. Pretty much. Not by itself, but I have another 9 to 5 job that I work every fucking day. So, Part said Ravens defense is ass. Their offense is pretty good, though. No, their offense is great. Yeah, their offense has been making mistakes, So, we'll see what happens, man. It's going to be interesting. Next few weeks, man. Got to get through these next few weeks. And then we need Detroit to lose a game. We need Detroit to lose. We need Detroit, we really need Detroit to lose that back-to-back, one of those, whether it's Bills, Packers, one of those 2 games. They need to. They really fucking need. They need to lose one of those 2 games. Need that first seed, bro. We want to get that first seed in Philadelphia. We want teams running through Philadelphia in the playoffs. That's what we really fucking want. So nice if you could do that. But yeah, other than that, guys, I think it's gonna be it. I'm gonna be doing some stuff tomorrow. I'm actually gonna go see early in the day. I'm actually gonna go see that Gladiator 2 movie tomorrow because I've been really wanting to see it. So I'm gonna be doing that tomorrow, and then we'll be streaming. Well, we'll have the shakedown tomorrow night, streaming the live play-by-play of the Eagles-Rams game on Sunday night. We'll be doing a post shakedown that night, and we'll be ready to go. All right, peoples, you guys enjoy the rest of your night. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. We'll be streaming tomorrow night anyway. We'll have a video out by tomorrow morning, same as usual. Appreciate the super chats, the memberships, all of that great stuff. I appreciate it so much for the support. Thank you for clicking on the videos. Thank you for liking, commenting, all of that stuff. It helps out tremendously. So before you, 162 in the chat, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the stream. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining today. And we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow, Cite. We'll be back tomorrow. So, all right. You guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right? Shakes what up, follow slide. Peace out, guys. Peace out.